We analysed the performance of 1,000 of the world's most prominent public companies between 2007 and 2017, tracking them through a long cycle of downturn, recovery and growth. Now, for the first time, we've been able to make empirical findings about what sets the world's best portfolio managers apart. Our conclusion? The winners changed their business mix year after year, while the laggards sat still. We're living in the midst of the great acceleration. Trends that were already underway a decade ago are intensifying and gaining pace. The result is a dramatic widening of the gap between those companies at the top and the bottom of the economic profit power curve. The gap's also playing out across industries. Top performers such as pharmaceuticals and semiconductors are pulling even further ahead of industries that began the decade from behind. This acceleration presents a huge opportunity for those companies with a strategy that harnesses the momentum of this ever-quickening pace of change. In the past, improving productivity by running your company better, faster, and cheaper than the competition was a proven recipe for fast bottom-line results. But in our winner-takes-all world, that's no longer enough. To move up the power curve, companies must harness the momentum of trends. Changing the business mix is one of the most formidable levers available. Our research shows that making a big performance move does improve your odds of moving to the top quintile by 7% over a decade. But companies that go all in by making a big bottom line performance improvement and simultaneously making a big portfolio move increase their odds by 22%. We aim to make conclusions from our empirical research that could be borne out through the long term, holding true across market cycles. 5 principles proved most compelling. The first is to keep the portfolio rotating. But how fast should you move? We found that top TRS performers change the industry source of 10 to 30% of their portfolios over 10 years. These companies outperformed the others in excess TRS by on average 5.2% per annum. In contrast, about half the companies in our sample refreshed their mix at a fairly static rate of less than 10%. These laggards barely moved the needle. Interestingly, about a quarter of the companies were rapid churners, refreshing their portfolios by more than 30 percentage points over the decade. They actually produced slightly negative excess annual TRS. The next principle is to move with the market and change lanes if you have to. 1/3 of firms in our sample had begun the period with industry tailwinds. Unsurprisingly, they did very well, with annual excess TRS of 4.4%. The others went one of 2 ways. Those that began with industry headwinds, but that moved into the fast lane, reached the end of the decade in reasonable shape, with excess TRS growth of 1.7% per year. While those that stayed in the slow lane delivered a negative average excess TRS over the same period. The third principle is to use transactions to speed your way. But this is not just a matter of doing deals. We found that outperformers took a programmatic approach to M&A by completing 2 or more small or mid-sized deals in a year and acquiring a meaningful total market capitalization over the 10-year period. Fourthly, we found it's important to target your acquisitions outside your core, but not too far outside. The companies in our sample that made acquisitions to shore up existing but secondary businesses registered the best results, returning an average of 1.6% in excess annual TRS. That said, industry context is crucial. Those companies in the fast industry lane did best by pursuing M&A in their core industries. Conversely, those that needed to change lanes got the biggest boost when they aimed further from their core. This approach accords with our final principle, which is to go harder when you're in a tough spot. Conventional wisdom holds that companies must earn the right to participate in M&A. After all, why would you lean into a failing business unit by adding M&A to the mix? Unfortunately, when you have a declining business, focusing on performance improvement alone and ignoring your portfolio does little for your odds of sharply turning things around. According to our analysis, the worse your starting point, the more urgent it becomes to shift to a faster track. Breaking free is easier said than done. We see companies struggling with a number of challenges. Decision-making biases can make it difficult to know when to let go of a business. A lack of alignment on attractive industries can lead to analysis paralysis. Some companies are reacting to deals that come to them rather than getting on the front foot. Others do not have a clear plan of action or knowledge about capability gaps. None of these challenges, though, are insurmountable. We see best-in-class companies de-biasing decisions by putting portfolio on the agenda in every business review. They also build a house view of key markets and build conviction across the executive team and board. These companies combine a macro view and granular data analysis to create an M&A blueprint, and they are continually building capabilities by investing in a scalable M&A function. Remember, we're living in a winner-takes-all world that's moving at breathtaking speed. You'll need to be faster, bolder, and more agile than ever before to succeed. So, what are you waiting for?